Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so Biden's first 100 days, day number 2. I've been waiting to put out this video until I saw what executive actions he took today. So that information is now out. So because of my weird schedule, right now, I'm able to do this on the same day, but sometimes it might not be until the following morning. Since I work the night shift, that will be when I am able to record. So let's go to the information that is available here. All right, so from Politico. All right, so he is referring to, the pandemic as we are in a national emergency. It's time we treat it like one. This is a wartime undertaking. So I'm going to bounce between a couple of things here. All right, Biden has said that he will propose a new tax plan that includes raising corporate taxes to 28%. Currently, the corporate tax rate is 21%, which was set under Trump's 2017 tax plan. Under his tax plan, Biden said no one making less than $400,000 will see their taxes increase, but that a 12.4% Social Security payroll tax will be imposed on those who earn $400,000 or more. He has not given a timeline of when that plan will be introduced. And introduced means it's not an executive order. This is something that's going to be introduced through Congress and can be voted down. All right, so the 12.4% Social Security payroll tax, that is a good thing. That's something that progressives have been pushing for years now, to remove the cap on the Social Security payroll tax. Because if you earned, less than $400,000, you reach a certain level, a certain dollar level, and even if you make, $100 billion a year, you don't pay anything above that cap. And this has been true since, for decades now. Here's my problem with, where the heck did it go? All right, this 28%, raising corporate taxes to 28%. Prior to 2017, for years, the corporate tax rate was 35%. The highest that the corporate tax rate ever went was, I think, 58.25%. That was under Johnson in 1968 during Vietnam. So that was one war, and there was no pandemic going on at that time. So how is this a wartime undertaking to increase the corporate tax rate to less than it was before the pandemic? I mean, less than what it was before the pandemic began. Yes, it's more than it has been under Trump, but it's less than the 35% that we saw, under Obama, when the national debt was still just going through the roof. How is 28% going to help? It won't, especially with all the businesses that are closing down and corporations that are declaring bankruptcy, meaning fewer and fewer corporations will be paying even that 28% tax. So he says that he wants to get 100 million doses of the vaccine out. 100 million doses, if administered properly in a two-step approach, means only 50 million people actually get the proper immunization. So that's only 1/6 of the country, less than 1/6 of the country. Now, he's talking about invoking the Defense Production Act to increase the supply of all the materials needed to get the vaccines and to arms and to ramp up testing. The order covers N95 masks and other protective gear, testing machines, rapid test kits, and syringes capable of maximizing the amount of COVID vaccine that can be extracted from vials. I've been a nurse for 26 years. It doesn't take special syringes to maximize how much vaccine can be pulled from a vial. That's all in the skill of the person drawing up the vaccine. What is this? Mostly he is talking very much about back to work programs, getting children back in schools. This is all very corporate friendly. Send the kids back to school so that the people can go back to work, even if only 1 out of 6 have a vaccine. The steps, the Defense Production Act is not affecting how much vaccine is being produced. All of this stuff that is talked about here doesn't talk about increasing the production of the vaccines. It talks about the equipment to give the vaccines, masks, and testing gear. Well, testing doesn't treat anything. All you can do if people test positive, if there's no treatment or anything, is send them into quarantine. All right. He talks about the creation of a pandemic testing board modeled on Franklin Roosevelt's War Production Board, tasked with expanding testing capacity, particularly in schools. And Biden will also clarify health insurance companies' obligation to cover COVID-19 testing. Why not just nationalize the testing? If the government is paying for producing the test kits and using the Defense Production Act to ramp up the production of tests, why not just nationalize the tests? This just means that somebody's going to be making a profit off of it. He will create a public dashboard with real-time national and state-level data on cases, testing, vaccines, and hospital admissions, and imposing mask-wearing mandate on airplanes and other forms of interstate transportation, and deploy FEMA to set up 100 community vaccination sites in the next 30 days. Having vaccination sites doesn't really help if you don't have enough vaccine. All right, so here's something else. All right, Biden restored full funding, federal funding for the National Guard's pandemic work, reversing a Trump administration decision last summer to cut most states' funding by 25%. Same order will approve more FEMA funding to help states reopen schools. What does the National Guard have to do with reopening schools? Huh? All right. Maybe they're just mixing that in there. I'm not. But it says the same order. All right. reimbursing states for items like masks for teachers and make more FEMA resources available to Native American tribes. Okay, that's good. On workplace issues, another Biden order aims to strengthen enforcement against employers who put workers at risk of contracting the vaccine, directing the OSHA to put out stronger guidance around virus prevention methods and measures and go after the worst violators. But while labor groups have pressed Biden for months to order OSHA to create a temporary emergency standard for workplaces during the pandemic, the order will only instruct the agency to determine whether or not such a move is necessary. So the last part of that pretty much negates the first part of that. To say the order will instruct the agency to determine whether or not such a move is necessary, well, that means, his order aims to strengthen enforcement against employers who put workers at risk, but then there's no consequence involved. I mean, this is all platitude. This is all rhetoric. It doesn't really mean anything. It's like, okay, we're going to look at it, but not doing anything. All right, so let me get rid of this. Okay, so again, I'm coming back to the stimulus. All right, testing, vaccinations, and none of this means that anybody is being treated. He's not addressing anything about treating people who actually become subject to the pandemic and become seriously ill. Creating a dashboard to tell you how many people are hospitalized and all this. That's not paying for treatment. And I've already said, there was a report that came out that showed that hospitals are marking up the cost of treatment by 1,800%, 1,800% above cost for, patients that are in the hospital with the vaccine, with the pandemic. There's nothing putting a limit on that profit above cost. There's nothing about helping people pay for it. The stimulus, the $1,400 stimulus that already got cut from 2000, that was promised the day before the Georgia runoff. It was promised $2,000. Jimmy Dore did an excellent report on that the day before the Georgia runoff. Oh, those $2,000 checks, which was well after the $600 had gone out. The $2,000 checks will go out on the first day. Well, the first day came and there was no mention of it. The second day came and there's no mention of it. Well, what's happening here now is that the stimulus is actually part of his $1.9 billion proposal. This is not an executive action. This is a proposal that is going to have to go through the House and the Senate. And estimates now say that it's probably going to be March before, if the 1,400 gets approved, it's going to be at least March before it goes out. So for the people that are desperate right this minute, he is doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's nothing but rhetoric. You can cheer all you want to. You can say, but Trump, all you want to. You can be happy that Trump is gone, but keep your head in the game right now. You can just cheer all you want to about Trump being gone, but don't act like Biden is some God, some benevolent entity that has come in to save you, because he is not. He's here to save the corporations. He is here to save the military-industrial complex. Do you remember when all of Congress, especially the Democrats, led by Pelosi, stood up and gave Juan Guaido a standing ovation? You remember that? Well, now Biden has a cabinet that is full on in favor of militaristic actions against Venezuela, against China, against Russia, against pretty much every country on earth that is in favor of murderous sanctions that are killing tens of thousands of people in other countries every month. Meanwhile, people in this country are starving. What about that? People in this country are dying from lack of medical care. What about that? So, if there's no profit in it for the corporations, you can count on it not really being done. Okay? I'm going to keep talking about this. You can rage on me all you want, but these are the facts. Keep your head in the game. Stay awake. You cannot go back to brunch. You cannot go back to sleep. You cannot. I'm not going to let you. You can turn off my channel. You can ignore me all you want. That's not going to change what is happening. All right. Share this video. Talk about these subjects far and wide. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.